I don't think they've ruined WrestleMania. I'll say this much. I'm glad they did it now with 2 weeks for people to react and possibly they can make a change than have this motherfucker show up on some Travis Scott and ruin another WrestleMania main event.
If he would have showed up at WrestleMania and done that, I would have been like, yo, y'all can kiss my ass.
HHW fam, what's good? My name is VSOP, and I'm joined by a special guest, Mr. Nick Trav. Tell the people what's up.
What's going on, y'all? Nice to be back.
Here's the current intel about our first topic, talking about the return of Mr. Pat McAfee to quote-unquote save professional wrestling, as he was revealed as Randy Orton's mystery caller. He hit Cody with a low blow.
Already?
Yeah, hit Cody with a low blow, cut a promo saying that the product sucks, that he and Randy Orton will save wrestling. I'm not sure how the segment did in terms of ratings, but I definitely turned off the product once I saw that segment. I was pretty much done. What was your feeling after seeing that reveal?
I thought everything was so stupid. Like, it's the TKO effect, man. They're trying to put celebrities, they just want people to tune in that don't normally tune in, but it's just like, you're not building a fan base. You're building people you're just trying to get people just to be like, what's happening? And now it's probably working great because people are probably talking so much trash about what happened. They're probably getting views and YouTube views from the clip and all kinds of engagement. And that's what they want. But that doesn't make a good product. It's just, now you just got Pat McAfee getting on screen looking like a fucking dork. His shirt tucked in with the big belt buckle. Like, what are we doing? Let the fans be fans. They don't care about what the actual fan, the one that's been watching 20, 30 years, what they care, because they just want people to look at the show. That's all. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them.
Yeah, this last 2 years has been so interesting with the transition. Like, we thought we saw a ray of light with Triple H taking over, the creative responsibilities. And then we had 2 good WrestleManias back to back, 39 and 40. But after 40, it's like TKO crept in and said, all right, this is the direction we're going forward. Gouge tickets, less wrestling on PLEs. And now let's insert celebrities every chance we can. And for some reason, Pat McAfee is on this huge pedestal to bridge the ESPN and WWE relationship, it seems.
Yeah. It is, it's weird. It's just like, I understand every company's supposed to try to make money, right? You got to capitalize, make as much money as you can. And I get that, right? But what it seems like TKO doesn't understand is that wrestling is an ebb and flow type of business, right? If you got something hot, it might be hot, right? For that year, 2, whatever it might be. But then it's like, if wrestling always takes that downturn, you got to kind of like accept that, right? Because everybody doesn't like wrestling. It's just, you might have a hot product where all the wrestling fans are tuning in at that moment, where they're like, I gotta watch it, I gotta see what happens, and then they're gonna take their little break. So that's what, especially because there's so much wrestling out there, especially right now.
Wrestling is very cyclical with its hot and cold periods. They don't come and go that quick usually, right? I feel as if the hot period was WrestleMania 40 time frame. And now the cold period is kind of like right now, if you will. It could have stayed hot with the Cena heel turn, but they messed that up. They messed that up bad. Who's to blame? A lot of people to blame. According to Fightful, McAfee's return was for corporate synergy between WWE and ESPN. Several people inside WWE were not in favor of the direction. Mike Johnson on PW Insider said that this was an edict from TKO Brass, the WWE creative, and it wasn't a Triple H idea. One source points directly to the head of TKO, Ari Emanuel. Now, Triple H is still running week-to-week creative, but this call came from above. McAfee's own promo acknowledged low SmackDown ratings, low WrestleMania 42 ticket sales, and a heel admitted that the product is struggling while they're trying to sell said product. Then after the show, McAfee posted WrestleMania 42 ticket links on social media. So the internal WWE reaction is split. Some thought it was good heat, and others said it was the wrong kind of heat. And Cody came out later for a response promo and cut that infamous Disco Inferno line, which is pretty funny. Reportedly, that line about Disco Inferno wasn't audible, not originally planned. So we're setting the scene. Randy Orton's in St. Louis, his hometown, cutting a very energetic promo about his comeback. Crowd's electric. Me and Gold talked earlier about how this man can't get booed no matter what he does. He didn't shit on the fans directly. He just kind of said, I'm doing this for me, not for y'all. And then Cody music's hits. No pyro. Came for straight business. And they start throwing hands. And that moment felt real. You could tell that when Cody got the upper hand, the crowd was starting to boo a little bit. But then here comes Pat McAfee, as you mentioned, looking like a dork, with his shirt tucked in, the big belt buckle and the shades, kicks Cody in the balls. And he's like getting offense on Cody Rhodes, which, not the most believable type of run-in or reveal. But anyway, that was the reveal. That's what happened. And the internet fans, the internet wrestling community went nuts about it.
I was pissed. As soon as I saw Pat McAfee in the ring, because I've seen the Pat McAfee heel before. He did a run in NXT as a heel where he was like, he had a stable. It was him, Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland, and someone else, I think. And he had a feud with Adam Cole. And I was like,
I remember that.
And I was like, why are we using Pat McAfee? But whatever. Oh, he can actually wrestle a little bit. Fine. This NXT. It's fine. And then, so I'm like, cut to now, whenever I thought, okay, he just went to commentary. I'm fine with him on commentary. I'm fine with him. He's funny. But man, he like, oh, y'all, he's the guy y'all were saying is calling Randy Orton, the Viper, 14-time champion, go for 15, is taking advice or is listening to Pat McAfee in some sort of way. What? Get the fuck out of here. And then Pat's like promo about this is for the friend that used to say what? I've always hated what.
I can't stand that shit.
Always hated what. Like it's frat boys like him that like what. Like I don't like the what chant. I hate it to this day. I swear. Because you're trying to hijack the show.
Right.
My opinion. I think what is the dumbest catchphrase of all time, or it was funny when Stone Cold would do it to other people. I liked it. But when the crowd decided to be like, oh, we're Stone Cold now, that's how I was like, now nobody can get a word in without what?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I hate it. I think
borderline
are stupid.
Yeah, it's borderline disrespectful to people who are trying to get their promos across and interrupted by the what.
You understand what this is as a wrestling fan. It's that person's chance to tell their side, right? And then you're just going to be like, no, I'm not listening. That's bad. That's the point I was making, was his reasoning, because he's an attitude era fan.
Right.
And he doesn't like the product. Oh, you don't like the product? The same guy that was standing on tables, yeeting and playing electric guitar for Shinsuke Nakamura? Oh, you don't like the product all of a sudden.
Right.
Oh, you've been champion. You seem happy being this guy in the commentary chair, but you don't like the product all of a sudden. Okay. Also, it's like you're trying too hard to get ratings, right? If this is the mandate to get ratings and sell tickets, it's like stop doing dumb shit. You're just doing dumb shit on the show every week, and people are kind of like, it's not hot. But that's what I said. It's like you got magic in a bottle is what creates those moments like we had at WrestleMania 40. Like that is hard to replicate. That's what they're trying to do over and over again, but you can't do it. So, sometimes you got to understand that. It's just, and then that's the annoying part.
And thinking about WrestleMania 40, the celebrity involved was The Rock. That's leaps and bounds above a Pat McAfee. If anything, Pat McAfee could still be involved, but I don't think he should be the catalyst of Viper going Viper. And he damn sure shouldn't be getting no offense on Cody Rhodes. If anything, Cody Rhodes should be beating Pat McAfee's ass.
Oh, you know what's coming.
That's coming.
You know what's coming, VSOP, is Cody versus Pat. And then also, I'm betting that'll happen at WrestleMania. I swear to God. What's going to happen is Pat McAfee's going to saunter his way down during a match. And then Jelly Roll's going to come down because you got RKO. He's going to come to help Cody. And then we go get a Pat McAfee Jelly Roll match at SummerSlam. Watch this shit. Watch this shit. Watch this shit.
Maybe.
Watch. I'm predicting it already. I'm predicting it already.
I'd rather have Pat McAfee versus Jelly Roll at SummerSlam than Pat McAfee against a legit wrestler. I don't want to see Cody versus Pat.
They're going to do it on the PLE. Cody and Pat will wrestle on the PLE.
Because most likely when college football starts, Pat McAfee going to be out of there anyway.
This is when he always comes back to do the commentary, right? So he'll probably be back. Like, they're going to fit all this shit in. Look, I'm really about to take a break from WWE programming because it's just pissed me off. And it's like, it sucks because I love some of the stars. I like watching these guys. Like Drew McIntyre is like one of the most entertaining things in wrestling every week. Javon Evans is always exciting. I want to see Trick continue to take over because that's exactly what he's doing right now. He just, every time he's on screen, it's just people love it. Chant. Jacob Fatu, I love it. They got people I want to follow. I want to see the ascension of Dominic Mysterio, right? All that good stuff. But y'all making me not want to watch it and keep up.
So they've been building this mystery caller for weeks. Who did you think it was going to be originally? Because some people were like guessing Ric Flair or Bob Orton or Shane McMahon. I myself thought, it might be The Rock to go towards that whole final boss, Cody Soul thing to build up towards next year's WrestleMania. Because it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, the checkbook's going to be pretty deep and bottomless. So I thought maybe they'll do that match there. Pat McAfee was the last person. I wouldn't even thought of Pat McAfee. So I think that also lended towards the overall disappointment for most people trying to do the Guess Who game. Who were you thinking it was?
I was like, my only guess really was Ric Flair because I was just like, who has a connection? I was thinking who. That's the biggest thing because there's no connection between Randy and Pat McAfee. So that's the biggest thing that pissed me off. So I was thinking who has a connection. So my only guess was Ric Flair, but I was like, otherwise I honestly was thinking it's either Ric Flair or it's going to be somebody that's not good. And that's exactly what we got. Because I didn't think it was going to be The Rock just because The Rock I just didn't feel like it'd be The Rock. I just figured that. And then nobody else really made sense in my mind. But I was hoping they'd get it right. I was hoping I was going to be wrong and they'd get it right. But man, they shit the bed on this.
They could have just left that part out completely. You only had 2 more weeks and the feud was already hot. You had 2 more weeks.
Right. They ruined the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like if Pat went away, like after all this dislike and fan discord and stuff like that, if Pat just went away and they just went back to Cody and Randy, y'all, they could salvage it. I'd be like, cool. They understood they fucked up and then they reeled that shit back in. Cool, great. But if they continue to try to hammer this and be like, yeah, Pat's part of this.
Yeah.
Like, cause sometimes you got to bite the bullet. Don't double down.
If they were to say, all right, next week, Cody come in and crossroads Pat McAfee 3 times, send him to the local medical facility and we don't see him again, perfectly fine.
I'd be like, cool.
Perfectly fine. Like, they can 2 more SmackDowns. They can fix this if they wanted to. Now, some people would say, devil's advocate here, buckle up and enjoy the ride and see where it goes. It's just that is such a disappointing reveal. I don't really care. Like, what can you possibly do to make this more interesting without revealing another person or bringing somebody else in the mix? Maybe they need to break that emergency glass and say, hey, Rock, we need you to come in and fix this, because Pat McAfee just isn't that guy. He's the wrong guy. He's Shane McMahon, pretty much. Wrong guy.
Exactly. That's it. If it would have been Shane McMahon, I was like, same thing. It was just like, why? It was like whenever it was always Shane back whenever they were using him, like in that 2018, 1920 time, where it was just like, why is he always showing up? Type of thing.
Right.
It's just, we don't need him. You don't need, like, let Pat McAfee be a sports guy. Bring him back for commentary again.
Even be a heel commentator. We're cool with that. He can do that heel stick on the announce desk. The problem with Pat McAfee in the comparison to Shane McMahon is we don't believe you. You need more people. So I can't name 5 great Shane McMahon matches. Even Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker, that one WrestleMania, why the fuck did they do? What a waste. Yeah, Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles on a WrestleMania.
That was
stop
a waste
it.
Of AJ Styles. But it's also like Pat McAfee, you have no pelts on the wall. What matches have you won? Like, that's what I'm like. You're the one that was in Randy fucking Orton's ear. Is Pat. Randy Orton is listening to Pat McAfee?
Even if it was Paul Heyman in Randy Orton's ear, I would have accepted that. At least, yeah.
I don't know. That's stupid, but interesting.
Even at least I would believe.
Like, I don't think The Rock would be the right person, just because, like, to be in Randy's ear doesn't make sense. To be against Cody makes sense, but to be in Randy's ear doesn't make sense. So even then, I didn't think Rock was still like the right person.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem is if Pat McAfee was just a chicken shit heel, it'd be different. But they're trying to position him as a tough guy. And that's the part that's kind of like, get the fuck out of here, Pat. I'd rather have The Miz. I mean, I just can think of a million different people, and you come in there with the shirt and it's tucked in. You look crazy.
Shades on. You don't look cool at all.
And not to say that he's not in his world. Clearly, we talked about this yesterday. He's a household name for a lot of sports fanatics. I don't think they've ruined WrestleMania. I'll say this much. I'm glad they did it now with 2 weeks for people to react and possibly they can make a change, than have this motherfucker show up on some Travis Scott shit and ruin another WrestleMania main event.
If he would have showed up at WrestleMania and done that, I would have been like, yo, y'all can kiss my ass. I'm so glad they did it now. Yeah, you're right. Because, like I said, it's not that they ruined WrestleMania. I'm still
going to watch it.
I'm still fairly excited for WrestleMania. It's not, the card is pretty good. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm said before, it's like, it's not, the card is not what I'm mad at. It's the build. The build is for basically all of it has been shit, but the matches are there.
I think they've done good with Roman and Punk, but that's pretty much a story that writes itself from their first exchange when Roman picked Punk. All they got to do is just have the heat week to week, and it seems as if they're rebuilding another bloodline story out of it. So,
honestly, that's just Punk and Roman being like good professionals, understanding how to tell the story. So I expect nothing. I mean, it's not spectacular, but I mean, I'm excited excited-ish for the match. It's like, okay, I'm legit wondering, like I'm like, I think Roman's gonna win, but I'm like, Punk might keep it, but
Punk might keep it, but
who's gonna turn heel? Who's gonna truly turn heel? I think, but yeah.
I think there's going to be some super shenanigans. I'm thinking like maybe after the Usos with LA Knight match, they turn on LA Knight. Then at the end, we get a big bloodline reunion with Solo interfering, Sammy interfering, the Usos, and they stand tall over CM Punk maybe. Then it's like
trying to redo the bloodline just because they trying to get that old thing back.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going back to that well. The Usos got new music. Again, Sammy's being a little heelish. Solo's beefing with the MFTs. It kind of makes sense if they want to go that route. The only problem is Roman still going to not be on TV every 2 or 3 weeks if he gets that title? That's one thing. But the Cody Rhodes, I was more excited for Cody Rhodes versus Randy because it had just such a good story. Just going back to the beginning of how Cody first came into the company under Randy's tutelage, and then the several reincarnations of Cody Rhodes until he left, went to WWE, started AEW, became the American Nightmare while he was on the indie scene. Now he's back as a main eventer. He's like the student teacher thing. But now Cody's like the megastar carrying the company while Randy's the veteran. And Cody gave him the pass to go Viper, which could have been enough, would have been perfectly fine enough for this story. But of course they had to bring some extra shit in it. But hey, it is what it is. But when Cody came out later and he compared this Pat McAfee reveal to the NWO bringing in Disco Inferno instead of Hulk Hogan, that was a specific and very brutal line. But is that comparison fair, or is it too harsh on Pat McAfee?
No, it's totally fair. It's totally fair. And yeah, like, I'm sure they got the backlash just that quick. They did it impromptu because they were getting the backlash. And so they knew they fucked up. And they're still probably like, damn, we got to fix this. Or they probably, like I said, they're probably just going to ride it because they even know it's bad publicity. You know how they say all publicity is good publicity. So, right. Mm-hmm. So they might not give a shit. They might just keep going. But it's one of those things like they better be careful. Like, you're going to toe that line, but where your actual fans, the ones that's been here a while, going to leave. And that's where the money is the actual fans, not these fair weather motherfuckers that come in and out because, you know, Logan Paul's there or whatnot. I think they need to be careful.
Right. Yeah, they don't need to disrupt their loyal fan base, but they're already doing it with the ticket prices, and there's new people coming into the product who are being programmed under this new model, but I see it to be very problematic. We really won't be able to really feel the effects of it unless they have like some huge L's in terms of like attendance and not selling out these shows anymore, because Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania, if it still happens, depending on where we're at with, you know, the Middle Eastern conflict and whatnot, that was going to be sold out regardless.
Yeah, I don't know how long, you know, these Saudi Arabia fans been able to get to WWE, or watch WWE. How much do they really know about wrestling, right? How many years can somebody say, yeah, I've been watching wrestling 40 years or something like that? Like,
right. Have they seen every WrestleMania? Like, going by how the Royal Rumble was and like most of the NXT talent coming out and getting no pops, no heat. Clearly, they don't watch it beyond the main roster product.
Royce Keys got no response.
Exactly. So it's one of those things you got to watch out for. But also, Pat McAfee's own promo, the promo that he cut was acknowledging that SmackDown has not been doing great, and that WrestleMania tickets are still on sale. But that's because they cost too goddamn much. That's what that is. Not because of the build. The WrestleMania brand would have sold that building out. Definitely would have sold out New Orleans if they went back to where they originally planned to go to, but they had to get greedy. But a heel standing in the ring admitting that the product is struggling, what does that tell you that WWE's answer to its problems are?
Throw a celebrity at it.
Mm-hmm. And not any celebrity.
That's what they think the answer is to everything. Because, like I said, it's one of those things like The Rock coming back was special, right? Because he's a celebrity, but that used to wrestle, right? So wrestling fans are like, oh, Rock's back to wrestle. And then people that only really care about his celebrity status are like, oh, Rock's on wrestling? I remember he used to wrestle, but he's a movie star now. Oh, he's back on wrestling. Oh, he's talking trash to all the fans and stuff. Oh, he's funny. Let me tune into this. And then you just like, that's what made 40 cool. It's because everybody was tuning in to watch Rock do what Rock does.
Yeah.
Like, if you watched him whenever he was there in the 90s or not, you thought it was cool. If you watched it in the 90s, you were like, oh shit, Rock's back. So it was So even though we had the whole Cody versus Roman thing, that was still secondary to Rock being back. And now they're just like, okay, yeah, celebrities sell it. It's like, no, nobody wants to see Travis Scott. Nobody wants to see Jelly Roll. Nobody wants to see Pat McAfee. Nobody wants to see fucking
I Show Speed. Lil Yachty. They're not moving the needle with tickets at all. Where
WWE
I would say
always had celebrity guests. Always had celebrity guests.
Yeah, but also factor in that their audience has several demographics. Like we're older fans, but they're still the young folks, right? I don't think 9-year-olds are reading internet news about wrestling. They probably had no idea what the fuck Pat McAfee was even talking about. Probably went completely over their head.
I know I sound like an old man, right? Because one of those things, like, it's almost like I feel like you're killing the thing I used to love.
Which is what Pat McAfee is saying.
No, but you are, Pat. You are you are the actual part of the problem. And I'm not just talking about the Attitude Era. He specifically mentions the Attitude Era, just pure wrestling, like the act of what wrestling is. I'm gonna come out and deliver my promo. We go fight for the title, and everybody wants the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like most of the wrestlers just happy to be there in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and I'm sure they get sick of being pushed out of the way for Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll on like the past 2-3 SmackDowns before this past week was in like 3 or 4 segments apiece.
Yeah.
Like, why is Jelly Roll getting so much TV time? I don't want to. And he's wrestled on 2 straight SmackDowns. Jelly Roll can barely move. I don't want to see him wrestle.
We don't mind seeing you, but we don't need to see you in the ring. But at least Jelly Roll is at least fighting Kit Wilson.
Right.
They had this guy, they had him with Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which, I mean, Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre are 2 different things. But the point is, he's down there with Kit Wilson, who's an entertaining mid-card talent. It's not going to hurt Kit Wilson to lose to Jelly Roll. And it might be a little bit more believable than say, let's put Jelly Roll against, I don't know, Randy Orton. Like, please don't give me a Randy Orton Jelly Roll match. I don't want to see that.
Jelly Roll's been in the ring once. I can't even say it won't happen. I'm like, it might happen. And you know it might happen. That's why you make it the face. You know it might happen, which is terrible. And like I said, they've had celebrity matches before. And that ain't even, it's never been like a thing. I've never cared for them, but it's never been like a thing where it's like, get them off my screen. It's getting that way now, though. You're turning into, get them off my screen. Like,
yeah, that
you don't
changed
need
the
to be in the
channel
ring.
heat. It's definitely changed the channel heat.
Yeah, I don't know. They pissing me off, man. That's why I'm like, man, AEW's my shit, and that's what I watch.
AEW. Gotta get people converted. How much heat should Triple H get for this if the call was over his head? Someone above his pay grade said, no, we need to do this.
Oh, trust me, but I definitely feel like Triple H was like, we got to do what?
Right.
All right. Let's see how it goes. I feel like that's been a lot of his era where he's had to deal with, because he's always had the TKO that written down his back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever shit worked, they probably come out and be like, hey, Paul, this is what we want. Not saying he's made all the most fantastic choices and whatnot. He's probably had some dud choices, but I definitely feel like this is a TKO thing, and that he's not necessarily the guy to blame for it.
Yeah. We'll see how they clean this up in the next 2 weeks. The promo that McAfee cut, it was a good promo. The words were correct. It's just a problem of who said them. In my opinion, I think that would have been better for Kevin Owens, maybe. At least Kevin Owens could say, me and Randy used to team up. Now we're on the same page. At least Kevin Owens can say, I'm a killer too. Because I feel as if the goal is to save, quote unquote, save the wrestling business, they're going to need some more firepower than just Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. Something to me says if this is long-term, this might be a faction brewing out of this.
If Pat McAfee leads another faction.
I think as a manager, maybe Pat McAfee could be, again, a believable type of dude. Just drop the sunglasses, maybe go to wearing a suit or something. Don't wear a t-shirt tucked in with the big belt buckle. Like, be a little less corny, because he's more than capable of talking. He has that part. I just don't believe you when you get physical. Like, don't get physical in the ring unless you're the one getting your ass whooped. That's different. But you shouldn't be getting any heat on anybody. But at least when Randy Orton decides he wants to turn face again, you know what he got to do. Just beat up Pat McAfee. WWE just told us that their product is struggling. They sell us on the product. That's honest, but it's very, very tone deaf.
You flick up with the sickest. I cough with bad intentions. I need your riches and the food up off your dishes. These statements are malicious. You rappers leave me in stitches. Hardy hard, you small like Marty Marr. I just lean